When I was replenishing the money I blew in those accounts, I had to work a secondary job to get it. And it took a lot to be able to get that money back in there just to do it again. But I didn't lose hope. I was cussing and ranting and raving the whole time I had to do it, wanting to quit the extra job I was working. But I knew, unless I did this, nothing's going to change. Nothing is going to change unless you put your feet to the ground and say, I'm digging my heels in. I know it's going to be hard. I know I'm going to have pushback. I know it's going to be requiring me to put time into it. When all my friends are out there running around and clubbing and doing this and chasing tail and doing this and doing that and drinking and having fun on the weekends, no, I'm going to be in these charts studying. I'm going to be living my life differently. But they're still going to be out there trying to chase tail, broke as fuck, driving a beater fucking car, and ain't doing shit in their life. And you'll be able to pull down annual fucking salaries on a week. You can't even imagine where you're going to be. You can't even imagine it. Whatever you think is your level of success, it's not big enough. It's not big enough. You have no idea when you strip all these limitations that you put on yourself. You shackle yourself with your own mindset. You do it. This is all I can see myself doing right now. When you start making $100,000 a year, you start thinking to yourself, oh shit, that wasn't all that hard. I thought it was really hard. Well, now I'm going to aim for $500,000. And the attempts that you do to do that, you get there in less than half the time. Then you start thinking, well, shit, they say the first $1 million is the hardest one. I'm about there. Boom, in a couple more months, and then you're there. Then you look back and say, $1 million isn't all that much money. And yeah, it took some effort, but it didn't take as much effort as I thought it was going to take. And then you start making $5 million, $10 million. 15 million, 50 million. And I know I'm talking in numbers none of you can fucking comprehend, but it is what it is, folks. It's just math. It's just math. You're compounding the efforts of what you're able to do on the smallest form. And watch it. That's teaching you patience. You don't have that. When you first start, you don't have patience because you're trying to chase the lead dog. Whether it be me, somebody else that's saying they're making money, someone else is doing something on a live stream, someone else is doing signal services, someone else is doing whatever. You're constantly trying to run. When it's better for you in the beginning to learn to sit still, observe. How are you thinking about the marketplace? Do you feel like this insatiable desire that you got to be in there today? Like, come hell or high water, even if you only get 5 handles of the 30 handle run, if you just get a piece of it, at least you got something. You took a bite of the beast that you've been hunting. That's a hyena's approach. I don't trade like a hyena. I'm not out there cackling and making crazy noises and shit, trying to just get a bite of something. I'm out there literally stalking and waiting. And when I see the weak one in the herd, the Judas swing, to see the retail traders thinking that they got something that's easy money for them, if that's 100% diametrically opposed to what I'm anticipating in price, I'm running that fucker down. And I'm going home with a full belly. And I'm not second guessing it. I'm not worrying about what other people are doing, what they think's making the market go up or down, what the volume profile said, what volume node they're looking at, what point of control, what VWAP, what fucking supply and demand zone, what Elliott wave count is. I don't give a fuck about none of that stuff. I know exactly what I'm looking for. I'm not worried about anything else. I'm dialed in. I know exactly what I'm hunting. I got my eyes set on it, and I'm going to run it down. And I'm taking it home. That's not arrogance. That's not narcissism. That's absolutely defined as confidence, because I've been here enough times to know that what I'm doing works. I don't need to change it. I don't need to look at somebody else to help me make it better. I'm not looking at any retail logic because it's not even in there. I'm attacking that. I am an apex predator that is attacking the weakest form of trader in this industry at a time when they're making their actions known. Because whatever you can do with the least, if you have a measurable outcome that is more times than not delivered to you based on a model that you're working with, when you do that same procedure over and over again, just like a cookie cutter, you take it and you press it into the dough. Are you expecting a star-shaped cookie dough cutter to give you a shape of a circle or a square? No. It's designed to do one thing. You press it into the dough, you lift it up, there you have a piece of dough that's cut out in the form of a star. Wonderful. Are you trying to do something else outside of that? No. Your job is to find another place where you can find the dough, which is a trade setup, and you're going to press your cookie cutter, which is your mold, or your model rather, press it into that dough and pull it out. And you take home that star-shaped or whatever the shape of that cookie cutter is, whatever your model is, if it's the optimal trade entry, if it's the silver bullet, if it's, anything else. That's all you're there to do. And demanding it does anything more than that is foolishness. The results that you get from the least amount of leverage from that is irrelevant in the beginning, because you have to get to the point where you can replicate that over and over and over again, more times than not over the course of a month, over the course of a week. And taking that sample set and saying, okay, I have done this for a week, and this is the many transactions I've taken. This is how many that were profitable. This is how many times that were not profitable. This is how much I was able to yield as a net return. Over time, it'll become easier to do it. That's the goal. And you want it to be boring. You know, on Wednesday morning of next week, you're going to go out there and you're going to find 10 handles in S&P. You know you're going to find 30 handles in the NASDAQ. I know that. I absolutely fucking know I'm going to do that. I know I'm going to be able to do that. I can do that. I know tonight when I lay my head down that my thought is not going to be swirling around. Am I going to be able to trade next week? Am I going to be able to pull anything off? Am I going to be able to find a setup? It's a given. It's absolutely given. I'm not worried about that. That is confidence that you cannot appreciate until you have it. And most traders don't have it. Even if they are profitable, they still say that the market's random. It is random if you're believing the bullshit you're trying to trade off of. All these things that you're subscribing to as a religion. Elliott wave, Wyckoff, it's this, it's jumping the creek, it's this, this wave count. Man, if I had a trade like that, I would not be able to sleep at night. That's too many variables where I'm trading on constants. I know where the liquidity is. I know where the inefficiencies are. I know what the economic counter is going to produce a injection of volatility at a specific date and time. I'm not clueless. I'm not confused. I know exactly when I'm going to step my ass in there and tap dance all over this shit and moonwalk my ass out the door with a bounty. I'm going to do that anytime I fucking want. And when you learn how to do it, you'll do the same thing. It's confidence that you cannot appreciate until you have it. In the hands of weaker men and ladies, you'll be a prick like I was on American Online when I finally got it. I was an asshole. You think I'm an asshole now? No, I was bragging. I was really bragging all the time. I'm just spitting facts right now, and I'm bringing receipts every single day. But you don't want to accept it because you can't do it yet. And you think it should have happened to you because you watched a few videos, or you scribbled some bullshit on a notepad or a napkin at work, and you think that you've been journaling. That's not a real attempt at doing it. You're half-assing it. And if you're half-assing it, don't be surprised when you get half-assed results. When you make it your business, that this is your career, you are learning how to operate and run a business. What is it? You incorporated. You incorporated. These people will try to tear you down all the time. And the more success you have, the more success that you share, there are more of them going to come at you. Are you going to live your life worrying about what they're going to say about you? Fuck these people. They are losers. The fact that they're spending their time talking about you, they're fucking showing you they're losers. Nobody that has success spends any time talking about somebody else. Nobody does. Nobody has time talking about that shit. You keep your business minded by you. You mind your own business. Nobody else is going to mind it. You do it. And you stay out of everybody else's business. You keep your head in the charts. You keep building, understanding yourself, where you make mistakes. Where do you fear? What do you get anxious about? What do you get too overzealous about prematurely or overconfident? Because there's a real thing like that. Identify those things. They're going to help you prune that tree, that money tree that you're growing into a money tree. I'm a money making dynamo. I can walk out these fucking doors. I could lose everything. I could literally lose every fucking thing. And I could start with zero money in my fucking pocket. And in 12 months, be a multimillionaire again. Do you feel that confident about yourself? Because everything I talked about in this presentation today, it all leans on having one skill set. And that's hard. It's real hard if you don't know what you're doing and you're brand new, you have no experience, you've never been here before. Every little tiny fluctuation, one tick against your entry, feels like the beginning of a run on your stop. And that's not what it's like when you're thinking like I'm teaching you. I trust my model. If it goes to my stop, I placed my stop incorrectly, and I'm okay with that. I know the likelihood of my next trade is going to be just as well as the one I just entered. It's not diminishing. The efficacy of my models are not diminishing. They're constant. Your appreciation for those models and approaches are on the upslope. You're at the beginning of your journey, and I envy all of you. I envy all of you. I miss those moments of astonishment where I would see something and I'd like, okay, this is what it should do, and let's see what happens. And it delivers perfectly to the tick. And then you're looking around the room like, am I supposed to know this? Like you're expecting the black suits to show up in front of your house. A helicopter's landing in your backyard like, you're coming with us, you know? Those moments of astonishment are amazing. Those epiphanies, those moments where the veil is lifted and you see the market as it really is in binary form. You know, when Neo finally understands who he is and where he's at, he doesn't see the people in front of him throwing punches. It's just zeros and ones. And all he has to do is, this is what his response is going to be. And he knows what they're going to do before they do it. That's a macro. The idea is, in closing, you need to guard your mind. You need to do the very least in the beginning. Because if you can't get experience or growth or progress measured in any capacity with the least amount of exposure to risk, it matters not how much more risk you can accumulate. What's the difference is if you have 15 contracts on or if you have one micro lot on. If you're wrong about what you're trying to do in the marketplace, the market's going to show you. Do you need the maximum pain, the maximum expense, the maximum discomfort for you to appreciate that you're not following the model correctly? Because some of you, you're full of shit when you say, I got to learn how to trade with real money. That's the only way I can learn how to trade. No. What you're doing is you're saying that I'm a fucking idiot. Please beat me over the head with a stupid stick because I don't know enough to know that I can do this without any harm to myself, without any financial risk, without any kind of hardships that's going to cause me to second guess my own ability because of the fear of being wrong associated with money. That's the reality. Books aren't going to teach you that way. Mentors aren't going to teach you that way. It's sugar-free, as it should be. You want it to taste sweet like honey. And sugar is a disease causer. The more you can cut sugar out of your diet, the best you're going to have in terms of health. The same way with trading. You want meat and potatoes, baby. Meat and fucking potatoes. That's it. You're learning how to do this incrementally. It's the only way you can learn it. And for some of you, it's not happening fast enough and you're vocalizing. Well, not vocalizing, sharing your frustrations through tweets. And I must say, it's unfortunate because I've asked many times for you not to do that because, number one, the only thing you're doing is reinforcing subconsciously that you're probably going to be unsuccessful.
because you're focusing on, you're elevating, you're placing all the emphasis on your shortcomings, and you're doing it in a negative light, like you're bringing all the energy and highlight and spotlight on the fact that you can't do it. I saw a student or a viewer, I'm not sure what it is, it could be somebody just trolling, but they said, I hate myself because I can't learn this. Well, that's the worst thing. Apparently you're not listening, because if you really feel that way and you felt compelled to type that out and just toss that out there in the abyss, into the ether, what's going to happen? You kept some of that internally. You kept it. You didn't throw it away like just typing it into the internet, sending it into Twitter. You signed it to your soul. Like you literally tattooed the pain, the regret of that tweet, that emotional stimuli that you've elevated it to. You have retained that internally, and you now have to work through that. And every time you do it, you're building up more callus. That makes it harder for you to get down to the flexible skin that you have to be as a trader. When you build up all these calluses, which is all emotional and psychologically done to yourself, you lose the elasticity of having healthy skin as a trader. That's why it's important for you to listen to me, so that way you don't get the scar tissue. The scar tissue is not so elastic. It limits you. I've been stabbed in my thigh. When I was a younger man, they tried to take my car off me. And every now and then, if I'm doing certain stretches or whatever, I can still feel that tugging in my thigh because there's scar tissue there. So the same thing applies with you while you're learning how to do this. You don't want to encapsulate a negative feeling about your shortcomings. Don't encapsulate that moment of regret or despair or doubt. Instead, whenever you have that impulse to do that, you need to change the vocabulary. Instead of saying, I hate myself because I can't learn this shit. That was the tweet. Instead of typing that out and sending it into the ether on Twitter, say something like this. I'm not there yet, but I'm excited that I'm going to absolutely kill it. And I will know exactly how to do this before I ever thought I could. Now, you may not wholeheartedly believe everything you just typed, but your subconscious retained it. You're programming yourself with positive self-talk. It's important, folks. It's absolutely crucial, because this game is won between the ears. It's not won with the clicking of your mouse. Because long before you press that button on your mouse, there's a war going on between those two temples of yours. That gray matter, that 7-pound universe that's inside your skull, it's wrestling. And the only thing it's wrestling with is the only thing you gave it. The worrisome thoughts, the what if thinking. What if I fail? What if everybody laughs at me? What if they ask me for my results and I can't show it? What if my spouse asks me, did you lose any money today? See, that's what you're feeding yourself. You're feeding yourself that constant diet of negativity. And is it any wonder or surprise when it comes time to doing a trade, you're scared? Of course, it doesn't make any sense for you not to be scared, because you've conditioned yourself. And then you feel like you shouldn't be scared to press the button or worried about the outcome, or if you take a loss, it's monumental now, because you've told yourself dozens of times Before you even walk to your computer, before you even check the charts, you've already convinced yourself that you're probably going to lose money today. I'm probably going to lose money today. It's going to be one of those days. Well, let me get in there and get it over with. And then you go onto social media like it's your therapist. Like someone's going to be coddling you and saying, honey, it's okay. Listen, chin up, okay? Keep doing exactly what you're doing and you'll get there. I'm not going to tell you that. If you type those things into Twitter and my handle's attached to it, you're never going to hear me or see me say, keep doing what you're doing, buddy. That's the right way of doing it. That's the wrong way of doing it. You're encouraging negative thinking, toxic thinking, more specifically. And you have to guard yourself from doing that. And I know it's hard, especially when you're new. It just feels normal for you to vent. Believe me, I know all about that. But when you're new and you're learning, it's crucial that you guard your mind and you don't allow your mind to run around like a child and emotionally charge every experience in light of its negative implications on you as a trader or as a person. It's important for you to understand that that is a counterproductive trait that many people do. And unfortunately, it does them in. It prevents them from ever finding success. It prevents them from reaching their highest performance, where they don't have to worry about the outcome. Do you think that major league athletes like baseball players, football players, even golfers, do you think they're up there thinking to themselves right before they swing the bat, before they wait for the quarterback to snatch the ball and send it to whoever's going to be expected to catch it, or when they're up there getting ready to swing that putter? Do you think they're telling themselves, man, I'm about to blow it here. This is going to be the worst thing I've ever done in my entire career, and I'm being televised? Do you think they're doing that? Chances are they're probably not. What are they probably doing at the time? They're focusing on what their conditioning and training has brought them to that very moment. What am I supposed to be focused on? This is the play we're about to do. This play. The playbook says, the coach said, this is what we're doing. It doesn't matter what just happened 2 plays ago or last inning or last quarter or whatever, what hole. We're here right now. What's the process? I'm supposed to do this because this is what's happening. So therefore, this is what's been given to me. I have to make a decision. What's my process? What's my experience tell me? I'm leaning on that, not what if thinking. If the quarterback takes the ball, snatches it, and starts thinking, what if I throw the ball to the wrong player? They don't have time. They're not there thinking about that stuff. Major League Baseball players with high batting averages, they're not stepping up to the plate and thinking to themselves, well, I ain't struck out in a while. It's probably a good time to start doing it. That's not what they do. That's not what they do. But some of you, all of us really, in the beginning, as traders, when we're new, we're out there saying, man, I suck. Man, I'm never going to get this stuff. This is really hard. This is way harder than I thought it was. This is just BS. I'm never going to make it. Why am I failing at this? Why won't these order blocks work? Because you're frustrated, and it's normal. But you have to replace that with positive self-talk. You are your best cheerleader. You're the only cheerleader that's going to have an impact on you. Yes, That's the truth. Because yes, you can go out there and lie on social media and pretend to be something you're not. Or you can share something you got lucky with and wait for other people to like the comment on it and say, wow, you're the GOAT. And the only thing that's doing is what? It's stroking your ego when you know you're not going to be able to replicate that again. It's just an aberration right now. It just happened. And you know it, but you want to feel good. So you toss it up to the abyss, into the ether on Twitter, on Instagram. So that way someone will see you and they'll pat you on the back. And that's a false sense of security. That's a false sense of security. That's a false sense of accomplishment. So it goes both ways. You shouldn't talk to yourself in a negative light when you don't do well, because your subconscious is so powerful. It's absolutely crucial that you feed it the right things. If you constantly give it negativity, it's going to show up and it's going to present what you fed it. You're going to get in, you're going to get out of it what you put into it. If you're constantly feeding yourself negativity, highly critical of yourself, doubting yourself, when it comes time to do something in trading, in anything, you're going to second guess, you're going to doubt, you're going to procrastinate. And even when you do make a move, you won't be doing it with confidence. Because you're going to expect what? What your subconscious already told you is going to happen. You're going to fail. And here you are doing it over and over again, expecting something different to happen. That must be the epiphany ICT is talking about. I'm looking for this thing to happen. You're never going to have it happen when you're doing that. You're going to be consistent at failing. Instead of aligning yourself with consistently developing into profitability. And you can't reach profitability if you're constantly feeding yourself negative self-doubting thoughts or highly critical thoughts of yourself, lacing it with, I'm such a screw up. I really blew it this time. I'm never going to get this. This is harder than I thought. This is too hard. Those types of things. Your brain is extremely powerful. It does so many computations all day long, you have no idea. But the average person, listen folks, the average person every single day has at least 300 negative thoughts. Don't believe me? Tomorrow when you wake up, every time you think of something negative, put a little check mark on a piece of paper. Or send yourself, a text message. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep the count like that. You'll be astonished how fast you start mounting up how many negative thoughts. I didn't believe it either when I first heard it. And I learned it from Lucinda Bassett. She was one of the authors I read when I was dealing with high anxiety and agoraphobia, which is a fear of being around other people, which is all stemming from 9/11 garbage, listening to the television. So I don't have a television that I watch. But these negative thoughts, 300 of them a day. And you wonder why these antidepressant drugs are in style right now. Because you've not learned how to deal with everyday stress. You've not learned correctly how to learn to do things that are very demanding of us as humans. And you're doing something that is extremely difficult. No matter where you come from, whatever walk of life, whatever culture, whatever race, whatever sex you are, it doesn't matter. This is one of the hardest things that you as a human being will ever endeavor to do. Because it's so easy to psych yourself out. I'm convinced that 80% of people that fail, they've talked themselves into failure, either subconsciously or blatantly. Think about what you've done to yourself as a trader. If you've traded with live funds and you've blown that account or accounts, you can go right back to the moment where you knew at that moment, right before you did it, when you still had money in the account, the day that you did like 25, 30 trades, over leveraging, trying to fix something, trying to just do whatever, at some point, it became like you just wanted to end it all because it was too painful. Just click until I don't have any more money left. I don't have the discipline to do it right. I've already convinced myself that I'm never going to do this, so let's just blow the account and be done with it. So subconsciously what? Your mind tells your hand there's something to do. Push the button. But the chart's saying nothing about doing anything at all. You're never going to see a book written like that. But that's the stuff that goes on for real. That's the very thing that's going on in the mind of someone that's blowing their account, going into severe drawdown. Their subconscious is manifesting themselves through that transaction or series of transactions. The subconscious already knows that you're failing. So it's doing what? It's doing what you trained it to do. Manifest what you've programmed it to expect from you. But when the money's gone and the account's blown, you have this sudden feeling of regret that you didn't have before you were pressing the button. You didn't have any regrets. You were going right in there, pressing and pressing and pressing and pressing because you had a task. You had a goal. And you hit it. Well done. What would have happened if you would have conditioned yourself properly, encouraged yourself with positive self-talk, constantly filtering out every negative thought and replacing it with something positive? Oh, I took a loss. That's okay. That one loss isn't going to hurt me. I'm going to stop trading today because I don't want to have any reason to compound that pain and make it harder for me to come out of this drawdown, which is easy for right now. It takes a lot to have that discipline, to remind yourself, oh yeah, something bad just happened. Well, you know what? I'm going to stop here, and before I lose control of myself, I'm going to exercise discipline. I'm going to do the right thing, which is follow the principles, convince myself that this is not the end of the world, and do it in a light that's positive. And then what's going to happen is the next time you go in from the charts, you're not going to be fearful because that last trade that you just took a loss on, it wasn't that big of a deal. You stopped trading because you know that your discipline is required and you did the right thing. You didn't make it worse. And you're not impatient, so you're not trying to rush to get it right back because you lost a trade. And that way, when you go into the next trade, what are you feeding off of? The positive things that you've reinforced your subconscious with. None of that fear, none of that regret is manifesting in the next trade. You're going right back to why are you doing this? You want to make money. You want to live a better life. You want to have a secondary income. That income doesn't just fall in your lap because you told yourself you suck. That income isn't coming because you told yourself you deserve more and it's just harder than you thought it was going to be, though. How's that productive? But that's what you have to be aware of. Every day, you're feeding your subconscious the very reasons why you're either succeeding or you're failing. And it takes a lot of effort to constantly keep your mind focused on the positive things. And in recent years, it's very hard to stay positive about anything. It's depressing if you look around and see what has been going on. But you still have to grind and prepare yourself mentally for this. No one's going to do it for you.
You don't need to do that. You just need to stick to a process and a model that works for you. And when you get that clean slate in your mindset, that all these things that you've piled onto yourself, I have to do this or it's not success. I have to make this much money or it's not success. I have to live up to this people on social media's expectations of me or I'm not going to be viewed as a successful ICT student. Fuck these motherfuckers. Fuck them. Even the people in our community are fucking too opinionated. Shut your fucking mouths. Shut the fuck up. Mind your own fucking business. You have no idea how impactful it is on people that are brand new, that are coming here, that are having a wonderful opportunity laid before them for free. And the toxicity fucking turns off immediately some of the people that would have otherwise had a change of life experience. See, some of you mistake what it is I do and what I'm responding to. These asshats that talk shit about me, I'm not physically losing sleep over this, and I'm not selling anything, so they're not taking sales from me. The only thing it's doing is bringing more traffic to my YouTube channel. But I'm talking to the people that are on the fence that may read these people's bullshit. And I'm just challenging you, take a little bit of your time that I'm not making any money off of. Try what it is I've taught. If it doesn't work, believe whatever you want to believe about me. Believe whatever the fuck anybody else says about me that's negative. Believe all of that shit. Go ahead and feel good walking away from it. I want you to feel no guilt. But what if you do try it and you discovered that these fucking clowns are just jealous and you have a change of life and you start finding a way for you to make your ends meet? What then? Will you have any time for people that's going to talk shit about me, you, and what you're trying to learn? Hell no. And that's what makes this community absolutely unbeatable. The folks that are really plugged in, the real parts of this community are the ones that are, they're the fibers that hold us together. Because they've done this. They've gone through the process of testing it and seeing it, and they know it's there. They see it. It's algorithmic. It's absolutely 100% manipulated, controlled, and you can time the fucking market on its basis. So there's no reason to be fearful of it. But everything outside of our community has an issue with us because we're saying everything else is bullshit, and it is. It's a religion. Everything else out there is a religion. You're placing your faith and belief in something that has absolutely no bearing on why price and when price is going to do anything. If I was a fraud, the things I said to you and teach wouldn't be in your charts when they are. I would not be able to show you the examples. I sure as fuck wouldn't be risking real money with it. And what do you see? What have you experienced? What do you have in your hands that you can compare and contrast against everybody else's opinion versus what you see as fact? Except for me going into your house with you and trading your account right in front of you, I've done everything. Used real money. Used a real reputable broker. I went in and did TD Ameritrade. I went out there and showed you live, talking every single candlestick. I did an execution in front of you, live, and it did it to the fucking tick. I don't need to do that every day. I understand. I know the ploy. These people want to goat me into, I have to prove it. If we keep saying he can't and won't do it, he'll just have to do it. The fuck I do. I don't have to do a fucking thing. I've already done more than all of you. All of you. And when I talk like this, I'm talking to the people that are afraid to make a time investment. You see these people say, oh, nobody's making money. Well, look around, motherfuckers. They're all over the place. You see their face and you hear their voices and you see the companies paying them. But there's no fucking profitable students. Nobody's making money with this stuff. You're fucking liars, man. You're liars. And that's the wonderful thing about social media. It preys on the fucking laziness of people. Oh, if this person said that about it, that must be true. You allow, that's what social media has been designed for. It's been engineered for that very thing. It's brainwashing. And your fucking IQ level is a fucking testimony that you believe in everything that you fucking hear without testing it yourself. I have done everything I humanly can fucking do. I'm at my wit's end. I cannot do anything more than what I've done here by teaching you what my very own son is now using. And Top Step is not owned by me. I have no affiliation with them. They're not paying me any fucking money. I literally have nothing to do with them. I don't know anything about that fucking shit. Nothing. My son's in there trading a stripped down to the chrome, very simple approach. And I'm challenging you, you dickheads that are fucking unprofitable. They're trying to help, hawk shit and sell stuff and courses and mentorships, all that other bullshit. You show me 100% fucking winning day track record. Let's see who has the most winning fucking days. My son or your Mickey Mouse bullshit. Whatever the fuck it is. 100% win rate. Every single fucking day. That's where he's at. How many winning days in average will he have before he hits that $10,000 mark? You demand these fucking jokers prove that. My son's doing it through a third party fucking entity, Top Step. He's at my house. He logs in the fucking shit on a laptop, and right there it is, showing you just like it is. If it's fake, if it's false, Top Step, you come out and fucking say it's not real. You come out and fucking say it. You can't fake these fucking results, folks. If it's being done on a live account, it's fucking right there. It's not demo. If it's being done in everybody's into this funded account shit, okay, wonderful. Maybe that's the reason why the Lord said and spoke to Cameron and said, I want to do that. Maybe that's his way of doing it because he moves in mysterious ways, right? Some of you need to see these things happen. Well, there it is. You can do what he's doing. Every single one of you can do this. Every single fucking one of you can do this. But you're in your own way. Some of you are in your feelings. Some of you are fucking scared to death. Some of you believe the bullshit, the drama fucking marketing these fucking people are doing because they can't draw attention to their fucking channels without having this kind of stuff. Where's the risk? Where the fuck is the risk for you to just spend a couple weeks? Just spend a couple weeks. Commit to 4 weeks. I promise you, if you spent the 4 weeks doing what I'm telling you to do, you'll be convinced that it's worthwhile sticking with it. And it costs you nothing. And if it's fraud, if it's fucking fake, it doesn't work, if it fails, show us what you did. So that way we can see that you made an honest attempt instead of going out on social media. Like I had a student that fucking left, tried to do Algo Box. He come out there and did all his bullshit because Vinny said, do this, and I'll give you free access and blah, blah, blah. He bought his little fucking computer, had all his fucking charts up there, and he was showing his market replay reports, and he's talking all kinds of shit. Well, guess what? He's turned his fucking video channel off. All his videos are fucking made private because I guarantee you, like I told him privately, I wish you luck at what you're doing, but I already know what your problem is you. And where's Algo Box success story in that? Crickets, motherfucker! Crickets, because it was the student's baseline issue himself. Some of you are just not going to be able to do this. It matters not who's teaching you what, period. But that's the discovery. You have to find out what your character flaws are. You have to go through that beginning process. And some of you have to go through that a lot longer because you don't want to let go of the painful fucking problematic issues that are plaguing you and preventing you from finding the fucking success that you think you deserve and want, but you're never going to obtain it because you can't get out of your own fucking way. That's the reality. That's the unfucking sugar-coated fucking way of telling you. And some of you get offended. I don't fucking care because it's the reality. I would want someone to tell me this is the way it is. Michael, you're getting ready to do this. It's going to be hard. This is where you're going to fuck up. Now let's go through a process of finding out where your fuck up problems, these root core issues. You have to find out where they are and be fucking humbled by them in the beginning before you put money at risk. Humble fucking beginnings. How do you build equity from humble beginnings? You have learned who the fuck you are. And guess what? You're all fuck ups. I was a fuck up in the beginning. And guess what? You learn, oh, I keep making the same mistake. How do I know I'm keep making this mistake? Because I'm journaling it. I'm recording what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, why I see this, why do I think it's going to appear in the chart. Am I mad about something? Am I going into the marketplace on an emotional high? Everything feels good, and I feel like, well, I can't lose. Let me go in there. All those things are characteristics they're going to repeat. And you need to identify what they are, because if they're hurting you, you need to go right to the root cause of what causes that. And if you have that in your mind before you press the button, it's better for you not to take the trade then, until you wrestle these demons into submission. Otherwise, you'll talk yourself into doing shit that you shouldn't be doing, and talking yourself out of the things you should be. Folks, I'm sorry, but they don't make fucking trading psychology books that's going to tell you this. But this is exactly what the fuck you need to hear. You're listening to somebody that went through it. And I begged everybody that had more experience than me, please direct me to books, direct me to teachers, direct me to somebody that knows how to conquer all this stuff. I'm wrestling all these things and I can't figure it out. Well, just like I promised you, if you journal, you're making the fucking best fucking trading book ever. And you're writing it yourself. And it's strange because it should never be shared with anybody. That makes it a treasure. That makes it an heirloom that you can pass on to your children. That was a time capsule every day of your life. What you were thinking in that day. The decisions that you were making that day that helped frame the legacy that they're living off of now in the future. That's a unique experience that people can't get the same from a photograph. You can have photographs and old movies and 8mm films and all kinds of shit. But it's totally different when you see the blueprints of what your future family is going to live off of. What you did, the engineering moments of how you put all this stuff together for you to make it work for you. How you framed every decision that you're making financially for you and your future and your family's future and the legacy wealth that you're creating. But you think it's something you shouldn't do. It's a time waster. Oh, it's this, that, and the other thing. I promise you, folks, I promise you this. Anybody worth their salt as a trader, making serious money, they're journaling. And they did journal. Nobody swings by the seat of their pants and just says, well, I'm just going to wing it. There can be people that do that. Gamblers come into the casinos every year and take down big hauls. But are they doing it every year? Every month? No. They're just a flash in the pan. Just everything lined up for them right then. Do you want your trading to be like that? Do you want your success to be hinged on the basis of a lottery-like win? Some of you said, I don't give a fuck how it comes as long as I can get it, right? I'm just cut from a different cloth. I want to feel good that I earned it. I want to feel good that I'm teaching you a method that can be transferable. And I absolutely have proven it's transferable. I have people all around the world, and many of them making serious salaries off of trading now. And they're just underneath the cusp of becoming millionaires. And guess what? You're not going to see ever an algo box you're ever come out with proof that they're a millionaire. You're never going to see a $600,000 algo box profitable trader in Real Money Not Market Replay reports. Vinny, I'm sorry that I have to talk this way to you. I never wanted to do these things. And when we were talking privately, I told you all these things. I said, I'm not the person you're making me out to be. I invited you to have me and my wife share a dinner with you a year ago. And I told you I didn't have nothing to do with Shane Fields doing whatever the hell he did that day. And I thought that was a skit. I thought that was something that was cooked up by you. And then when that guy started talking all that shit, I was like, what the hell? That was nuts. So I'm anxious to see when you get to court with that whole show. And when you hear that man tell you I had absolutely nothing to do with that, I absolutely expect an apology, because you have a title on one of those videos, that very video. You're claiming that I'm a child molester. You have any idea the liability that you have doing that? I want you to understand something. and I'm making this public again. I had nothing to do with that. Zero. And the things that you're spinning off on about, absolutely baseless and untrue. I would never do that. Never. The things that you've said about my family and my children are absolutely heinous and they're untrue. And you've done more damage to your image and your brand than I ever could do. You need to take stock in what it is you're doing. You might be making a little bit of money off of revenue, but that shit's going to dry up. It's all going to dry up. And once it's on the internet, it never really goes away. And your children, as precious and beautiful as they are right now, they're going to grow up. And they're going to see these things that people are saying about you. And it's going to, it doesn't, you don't see it or feel it right now. But that shame's going to be very, very deep in its cuts. I did not one time have any intentions of doing anything to bring you any kind of harm or shame. That's never happened. That doesn't mean I wouldn't whip your fucking ass in a trading competitions. I know, and you fucking know it too. I would dismantle you. You did not join that Robbins Cup, and you know damn fucking well that the shit you put out there supposedly by Joe Robbins or whatever the fuck it's supposed to be, that guy did not fucking say I went out there and blew 4, 5, 6 fucking accounts or whatever. That never fucking happened. That never fucking happened. All this stuff is bullshit. You need to take stock in what you're doing. I'm certain that you're taking notes on what I'm teaching. I'm absolutely certain. Everything that you have been doing for the last 5 or 7 years has been inspired by me, whether you fucking want to admit it publicly or not. You've done it a few times in your live streams where you say, oh yeah, the J hook, that's ICT's optimal trade entry. Yep. I even told you to code this stuff. If you can do it, I have users, well, not users, but I have students that would use your shit if you could really do it and make it consistent. Take all that shit off your charts. All that bloated bullshit. You're getting there. It's slowly happening. But the things that you're building your stuff on, it's all bullshit. Incorporate the stuff. I'm not even saying market it with my stuff. You don't ever have to do that. You never have to come out in public to say it. You don't even have to say it to me in an email. You don't have to say nothing to me. Just do it. And I promise you, your shit will start working. And people that want that crutch of being able to go out there and try to do something and it's built on sound logic. Look at the fucking thing my son's using right now. You trade all these little micro couple types of trades and over leverage them. Take the over leveraging away, build it with one contract basis, automate it. It has a negative R. It doesn't matter. That consistently will drive transactions. And if you automate that, I guarantee you people right now are sitting there thinking, ICT is right. If he could make that work, I would like to have something like that. And again, like I told you in the past, I don't want any royalties off of anything. Nothing. But you went on this fucking vendor. What's my trading morning routine? Like, what do I do in the morning? Like before I sit down the charts, like what is going through my mind?
What do I consider? What are things that are important to me as an analyst? What do I look for as a supportive structure, a resource? What resources do I use? Those types of things. And I kind of want to talk a little bit about that today. And I know I like to be facetious and say, I'm going to have a short one here. I don't know how long this one's going to go, so it might be brief. But when I wake up, if I'm napping in the afternoon, because I do generally try to take a nap in the afternoon before the PM session in S&P, I will again hydrate. But if I'm waking up for the morning session, the first thing I do is hydrate. I drink 20 ounces of spring water. And then that's important because you have to have, number one, you have to have liquid. You have to have it. Your brain will function better. Your muscles will be hydrated. You'll get less muscle cramps. And generally I have a half a banana, and that'll give me potassium, because standing in one spot or if you sit, I don't like to sit because my back won't let me do it. But if you do that for a long period of time, you'll get crampy. And I'm not sure if you ever stood or sat in front of charts for a long period of time and you start getting that crampiness in your lower back or somewhere in your body, or you get a muscle cramp somewhere, you can't focus on the chart. You're worried about that damn cramp that's going off. So one of the best things you can do is start your day with hydration. And then I stretch. I go through a routine of stretching. And that's about all I'm going to do for this discussion here, because everything else is obviously shown in that tweet months ago. But what I do is I refer to the economic calendar again, because when you wake up from a nap, or if you slept overnight and you're getting ready to do your morning session in trading, it's very easy to lose your bearings. You ever wake up, and I'm 50 years old, and I've had episodes in the last 30 years where I woke up and literally felt like I was late for school. I've been in school for a long, long time, but it's just weird how our minds are so powerful when we're sleeping. And when you wake up, you are in a altered state. Like, you're not really awake yet. Your eyes might be open. Someone may be talking to you and you're looking in the direction that they're talking, but you're not really there. So you have to obviously refer back to what it is that you're going to be doing, because you could remember something about an economic calendar event. And I've done this. Okay. So I thought that there was going to be a report due and it wasn't due. And I'm expecting something in the marketplace, and then realize, oh, what am I doing? I'm in the marketplace trying to do something, and that's not even due out today. Or if I'm waiting for an 8:30 morning news embargo to lift and there's no news coming out. So I have to make the decision. Do I hold on to this trade idea if it's in drawdown and try to get out with close to even, or if I can squeak out a win from it? Or do I just cut bait and just take the small loss because I did something incorrect? These are all things I have done coming up. Okay, so if you've ever had that happen, just know that you're in good company, because I'm not ashamed to say that I did those things too coming up. So you have to definitely review the economic calendar. Now, what economic calendar do I use? Well, I used to use Econo Day, and I mentioned that when I was on Baby Pips. And when I went to teaching predominantly Forex, I grew to appreciate and like ForexFactory.com's calendar. I think it's easy. It's easy to manage and filter. I don't like looking at the yellow, low impact events. I only looked at the pairs that were of interest to me, but always the dollar. And when I was trading Forex, it would be the euro dollar, the pound dollar, and the US dollar. And only medium impact and high impact news drivers. And I would toggle the little gray box because it would tell you bank holidays and things like that. But other than that, that's pretty much what I would use for an economic calendar. The review of what I thought would come the previous day. So in other words, whatever I thought my analysis would see in price delivery, for instance, what did I think was going to happen in euro dollar? Okay. Or what did I expect to see in E-mini S&P before I laid down? Okay. I have to revisit that, because while I was sleeping, bombs could be dropping somewhere, a new virus gets released, some kind of boogeyman, narrative gets put in motion.
or just simply, a collapse of some kind or something that I didn't expect and I was wrong in my analysis. The market has done something that I didn't expect and I was wrong. So I have to recalibrate myself and say, okay, what did I expect before I took the nap or before I went to bed? And then when I go into the economic calendar, I have that reminded, because if I expect something to come into the marketplace in terms of volatility, that's what the high impact and medium impact news drivers are for. We want to know when it's likely to increase in volatility. Okay, it's one thing to be like in an earnings season. Like in earnings season, futures, they get wild many times after the close. Okay, and we also know that in Forex, we don't really have earnings season, but we do have economic drivers that come out and they're set to a specific day and time, much like a TV guide. Okay, I'm a child of the 70s. I was born in 1972. And when we grew up, all you young guys and gals out there are used to having the TV guide or the guide on your remote. You push your button and it tells you what's on TV right now and what channel. And you can scroll ahead in time and see what's on. We only had that luxury with a little magazine. And it was a TV guide and it was published every week. Well, these events or not topics, but these events and or opportunities in trading are basically scheduled like TV programs. Okay, your high impact and medium impact news drivers are scheduled well in advance. Like you can see 2-3 weeks from now when these things are coming. So you're not surprised by it, or you shouldn't be. Okay, so by having that understood and what days of the week are likely to create these increases in volatility, so you know what that volatility is going to bring with it, the strong likelihood of manipulation. And that's one of the key factors or ingredients to what we're looking for smart money. We want to see some type of manipulation, and I'll get to what that manipulation should look like in a moment. But I'm referring to the economic calendar, making sure that I'm in front of the charts for the right reasons, and I'm following the right market. So if you're a Forex trader, you want to be looking for your pairs that have the currency news driver that has a high or medium impact news driver coming out around it. It'll tell you the time. And most of the time it's 8:30 in the morning, or if it's US based, it may be something like 9:30 or 10 or 10:30, like for crude oil inventories. And you can trade Canadian dollar, just on that report alone. But referring to your previous session or before you went to sleep's analysis, is that still hold true? Or does it hold true? Or has something changed while you were away from the charts? If it hasn't changed, then you go through the process of trusting it. And what type of analysis would that be? Well, number one, I start everything on Saturday. And I look at what I think that weekly chart's trying to go to. Is it going higher or is it going lower? I'm not trying to predict Friday's closing price. I don't teach my students to try to predict a Friday closing price, okay? So many folks have listened to me, taken things out of context, and spread so much misinformation about what it is I do as a trader, how I teach as a mentor, and what my students are focusing on or should be focusing on. They have made so much more confusion, and this is another reason why I hate when people try to teach my stuff, because you don't know what you're doing. Watching a video, listening to a video series, you don't know. And just repeating what I'm saying, you don't know how to answer a question when someone gives it to you. How do I know? Because those same people that are running mentorships are asking me the questions in my forum so they can answer their customers. Yeah, I know. So if we know that the weekly chart is likely to go higher. Now, when I say if we know, how do we know? Well, we don't know with 100% assurity that it's going to go up or down. Our analysis is never guaranteed. That's why I have to have stop loss. But I want you to think about how when you watch me trade these intraday movements, and I'm on a 1 minute candle. Okay, number one, I'm canceling out all the arguments from the Goldman Sachs boys that say it's just noise and there's no pattern. Okay, there's no consistency or continuity found in lower time frames. These are people that don't know what they're talking about. And you've seen now students and me do this consistently with precision. But what I'm showing you is where I think the market's going to go to, the draw. Okay, that's the first question you need to address on Saturday, or if you do your analysis on Sunday. Some of you are probably listening to this after church. That's fine. But whatever that day is on the weekend, Saturday or Sunday, that is the day you're focusing on. Where do you think that next candle, when we start trading on Sunday evening and the markets open up, is the market going to expand, not close high or low? Is it going to expand? Is the largest portion of expansion in that weekly candle? And what do I mean by that? If you were to measure the highest high and the lowest low after the week closes, okay, was there more expansion upward or downward? That's the question that I teach my students to aim for answering on the weekend. You're looking for that. Okay, that gives you the absolute strongest bias filter you'll ever fucking find. Okay, because what you're doing is you're patterning it off of large institutional flows. Ooh, what does that mean? Well, large institutional flows are big funds, big hedge funds, big deep pocket entities. Okay, and they are not trading on 1 minute charts. Okay, they can't put their size into the marketplace on a 1 minute candle. So they require weekly and daily levels. And that order flow that comes through that time frame, that's the elephant. That's the trail of elephant footprints that we're looking for. And smart money is a big elephant. It's lumbering. Okay, it has to take a long time to work in its orders to get into a position. Not the start of a position. Obviously, any position entry that constitutes their participation, obviously, right? But they can't put all of the size that they want on just in one trade. Like you go in and put in your 10 lots or your 5 lots or whatever, and it's done in one clip. Boom, it's done. They don't even break the order up. But large entities and large hedge funds, they have to break their orders up and they scale them in. So they're requiring a longer term price swing. And we derive that from the weekly chart. So the weekly chart, the only thing we're trying to do is capitalize on focusing on the next expansion on that weekly candle, removing the importance of knowing how it's going to close. We don't care. We just know that